Welcome to KJ and Tony Move to France.
In today's video, we're going to be sharing with you our budget for living in France. We're going to be sharing with you real numbers. We're going to share what our expenses currently are, what our budget is for living in France, and the money that we're going to save as a result of moving to France.
And those of you that have followed our channel for a while may remember that a couple of years ago we did a similar video. Things have changed in a couple of years. Of course, rents are more expensive, and there's three of us now. So we're looking at a three-bedroom apartment instead of one or two-bedroom apartments. And one of the things we've learned along the way is we have to have air conditioning. So that is not that common of a thing in France, but it is becoming more and more common. Yeah. And so we're going to need air conditioning, and that plays a role also in this. So I know another thing that is important to me is that if it's above the third floor, I want to have an elevator.
Yeah. So let's start with what we're paying now, what our expenses are currently here in Vero Beach, Florida.
Well, our mortgage, not including property taxes or insurance, is a little over $3,600 a month. On top of that, our property taxes are about $5,000 a year. So let's call that a little over $400 a month. And then last year, our insurance on our house was in the neighborhood of $5,000 for the year. So again, let's call that $400 a month. So our base living expenses are $3,600 plus four for $4,400 a month for just those three basic things.
And then you add on to that expenses that we pay for living in a gated community. We have a quarterly assessment, which is common in this area and a lot of different areas throughout the country. Yet our quarterly assessment is, I think, pretty high. It's about $1,250 a quarter, which translates to
let's call it $400.
Another $400 a month. And then on top of it, we have, and just want to add that pays for our lawn maintenance.
Right.
They take care of the lawn maintenance. But then we have a yearly assessment for the community that covers, I think, the gate and a lot of other things that I haven't read through exactly what it covers, right? But we pay about $2,000 a year for that.
$2,000 a year is about $175 a month.
Right.
Approximately.
So what are we up to?
So now those additional things are $575 a month on top of we're at $4,400. So we're, when we've been rounding down a little bit here, so we're at $5,000 a month.
Right. And then we have, of course, electric, and we have water, and we have, of course, food and
normal stuff.
Normal stuff, right? But that's a lot. That's a lot of what you would call like baseline overhead.
Sure. And in doing the research on what it costs right now, in Nice, there are websites where you can actually put the city in and get all the normal expenses there. For a three-bedroom apartment in Nice, at the higher end is about $3,050 a month. We're budgeting $3,500 because we'd rather budget too high than too little, and we're thinking that 35 might be a little bit more accurate anyway, right? So as you can see, we're saving right off the bat about $1,500 a month.
And then just to go through the actual budget, what we're budgeting besides our rent, what are those numbers, Tony?
Our utilities, which includes things like cell phone and whatnot. The website that I looked at said we should budget about $405 a month. I've got us down for $500.
Okay.
And then transportation is a big one where we're going to save a bunch of money. We have two cars in the household here now, collectively, those two car payments are about $1,300 a month.
And then car insurance,
And then,
which is huge.
Yeah, car insurance is about $500 a month. So so we're at $1,800 a month there. Now we haven't even talked about gas yet, right? So we are not going to own a car in Nice. One of the reasons we were down to between Paris and Nice was that both cities don't require cars.
Yeah, they're walkable cities.
They're walkable. And we've rented cars in France before several times.
Very easily.
It's very easy to do. And we'll do that, maybe once every couple of months if we want to drive somewhere.
Sure.
Where the trains aren't easily accessible. But normally we'll be taking the tram in Nice or a train,
even
one or the other. And so the website said we should count on spending about $250 a month. I have us down for $500 because especially our son's never been to Nice. I suspect the first year we're going to be using the tram all the time, and we're going to be using the train to go to the places that you and I have been to.
Right.
But the Pierce has never been to, and he's going to want to go.
Right. And we were also told, and we haven't really looked into this, maybe you might know, but we were told last time we were in Nice that they have there's this pass that's, I think, €80 a month, euros a month, that covers all the trains and the tram.
Right.
So I'm not sure how accurate that is, but that would be a huge savings.
Unlike most places in the United States, Nice has great transportation service, as does Paris. And we literally, where we're thinking about living, will be about a 3-minute walk from the tram that can take us to the train to go anywhere we want to go if we're going long distance, or just to take us all across town. So transportation is great.
And then our grocery budget, which I think that is the one, at least here, that can kind of vary wildly depending upon what's going on, family visiting, things like that. It can.
Sure. And the website suggested that we budget about $1,000 a month. And that's what we're budgeting, is $1,000 a month. Grocery shopping in France is completely different than here. Where here you generally shop once a week. And then maybe supplement here and there where you run out of things you didn't realize you're out of. In France, if you're eating at home that night, you shop that day for what you're eating that night. And so you might have more often shopping, but it's for very small amounts, relatively speaking. So $1,000 we've got for groceries.
Right. And that doesn't include restaurants, because we do like to eat out. And
so restaurants, that's what the next thing on the list is, right? And restaurants, I think, is the one place where we are probably going to spend more than the average person, because we eat out a lot even here. And I can't imagine that we're not going to eat out a lot there. So the research said $500 a month. I have us down for $800 a month. But I have to say, it wouldn't shock me if we go over that.
It just depends, because we do have a tendency to go out about twice a week, if not ordering and then bringing it home type of a situation. So what's next?
The next is health insurance. And the budget, according to the website, was $250 a month.
What is that website, by the way?
Numbeo. I'm probably saying it wrong.
I'll put it in the description.
I think it's called Numbeo. And the one thing I don't like about the website is that there's a lot of advertising on it.
Yeah.
And I have NordVPN that usually wipes out advertising, but somehow their advertising gets in. So it's a bit of a pain, but it's the one place you can get all this information. You get a lot of detail there too. So they budgeted $250 for the three of us. That's what we're going to budget too, is $250.
Okay. And what else?
Okay, so we have sports and leisure. Now, what does that mean? Sports and leisure is like if you have a gym membership, which it's likely, I think, that you will. I probably won't have one, but sports and leisure. You go to a movie maybe, or go to a sporting event.
Mhm.
So they're budgeting $500 a month. We're budgeting $700 a month. I have to think that that's probably high.
Right.
So
We would rather go high
yeah,
than
yeah.
estimate under.
Right.
And then there's two more.
Clothing and personal
Mhm.
care, and they set the budget 300. I have us down for 500, and I'm thinking of that as primarily your nails and hair, and if you go once a month, or
Every like 6 weeks.
Okay.
Let's just say.
all right, so $500 a month is.
I mean,
is
nails
good.
like it
Yeah.
depends.
So, 500 should do it then, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then finally, in order to, know that we're not going to run out of money at any point, we've budgeted, as Numbeo suggested, we've budgeted an extra $1,000 a month just for expenses that we
Mhm.
haven't thought of or are bigger than we thought they were going to be.
Sure.
So $1,000,
Traveling.
$1,000 a month. So that brings us to $87.50 is our budget per month,
Mhm.
which is significantly less than we're spending right now.
A lot.
Right? I think we're probably spending in the neighborhood of $1,400, $1,500 a month, and so we're going to save quite a lot of money by living there.
Yeah.
The one place that I think that our budget may go up a little bit is restaurants.
Right. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, so I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but I just want to make sure that I mention this, is that for some people, this might seem like a lot, whereas for other people, this might seem like not enough, because it's very personalized depending upon what your needs are. If you need a studio or a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, or just the space that you're looking for.
Sure. And
your lifestyle.
Right. And in all my research, I see a lot of places that say you can rent an apartment for $1,000 a month or less than these.
Mhm.
Yes, that's true.
Right.
But not for 3 people.
Right.
And not with air conditioning.
Mhm.
And, we want it to be pretty nice and, kind of in the middle of everything. What we're looking at is being close to the tram service, close to restaurants,
Mhm.
close to the beach, close to places that we
the
can
Mediterranean.
walk and things like that. So 3,500 is a good number, I think.
Yeah.
So clearly, we're saving a lot of money.
Yeah, you put the numbers side by side, and definitely is going to save us a lot of money moving to France. Of course, we didn't include what it's going to cost us to ship items to France and those expenses, and we'll do that another time.
As we get closer.
As we get closer and we're doing those things.
We have some estimates now on some things, but they're not hard numbers yet.
Right now, it's really about preparation, and we're hoping that this information helps to give you a better idea if this is something that you're thinking of doing as well, that you can kind of see the possibilities of where you might be able to save. And if you're someone who's already made the move, we've had so many people reach out to us and leave comments and talk about how they've done this already. They're already living in France, or they're getting ready to move to France. And so we would love to hear from you and find out from you what your budget, maybe not sharing your specific numbers if you don't feel comfortable doing that, but certainly what your expectation was and maybe what the reality is. That would be wonderful to hear.
And we're excited to share with you everything that we're learning, our planning, the whole process of budgeting, and eventually the move itself.
Yeah. So we appreciate you joining us for the journey.
Thanks for watching. Au revoir.
A bientôt.